Good evening, FM Walleyes members and guests. Thanks for joining us tonight as we deliver another virtual message out to all of our followers. As we continue through the month of May, it's been a lot of fun to follow many of you as you got out and did your first adventure on the water. Maybe it was Minnesota opener, maybe I've seen you on the shores of Devils or around, but it's been a lot of fun to follow you. So please continue to stay safe and get out there and get some fishing in when you get the chance. Tonight we're going to go through a few tips and reports that we've got in from some of our club members, which is hopefully going to add value to your days here as you plan your trips for the summer. What I can ask is that you please continue to follow us. I know that still some uncertainty in the world does leave some decisions that need to be made from our leadership in relation to some of the events that we have in a normal summer. So please continue to follow us each month here, whether it's on Facebook, in our email blasts, or of course you can contact our board of directors and we can get you the information you need. I am excited on the message that Rick and Eric are going to be delivering, and they have been delivering here in the last week or so about our Pelican Lake Classic Cup tournament. Excited to hear the buzz and on the fact that we can proceed with that tournament with, of course, some new safety precautions in place. But really excited to to serve our tournament anglers as we kick off the Classic Cup tournament season. Also, a couple things I want to make sure that you are all aware of. There are two events that we help out, actually three events that we help out with normally in the month of June. The first event being the YMCA vet outing. That outing has been canceled this year. We'll look forward to that event coming again next year. Another event is Camp Casey. A lot of you have helped us get boats and get those kids out on the water as well. That event has been canceled for the month of June as well. Dave Wasness did share here a few weeks ago, but we are going to be working with the River Keepers on an event that they have early on in the month of June to turn what used to be an event at the dike in Fargo and Moorhead into a virtual learning event for the youth as well. As we continue through the month, we'll be keeping a pin on these events, as I mentioned, to let you all know what's been going on and if those events can happen or if they can't happen, and keeping those open communication lines rolling. What I can ask, of course, is that if you do have any questions, you definitely stay in tune with us as we push through the summer and continue to enjoy your fishing season here as we push through the month of May and we get into a month of June. Hopefully the weather heats up a little bit. Excited to see all of you when we can, and enjoy your time on the water.
Hello, it's just past 11 o'clock. We're getting ready to go out tonight to do a little night fishing. It's opener here in about 45 minutes. Hope you come along and have a nice time with us. Thank you. Tonight I'll be taking just a fishing pole and jigging some soft plastics out tonight, going fishing. I will be tying on a little aspirin type jig tonight, and the lighter the better because I'll be in the shallows. I don't want my bait going deep, so I'll keep it high in the water column. It's only going to be 2-3 feet of water anyhow. Also going to mention that you can see that I have my waders tonight. That's to get out just a few feet into the water. I don't need to go very far, just so I can walk around the trees at night. Sometimes there's brush and stuff, so you just want to get out a little past it so you can do your casting and have a little room to do that in. I've been at the lake for about 2 hours. I've gone to 3 different lakes fishing from shore, and this is the only fish I came up with, but it's a very nice fish for eating. I'm going to enjoy it with my mom. Others were out tonight. They didn't do very well either. It's a tough night. It's calm. It's clear. It's like glass out there. Tough conditions for finding fish in the evening. We're going to get started cleaning now, and we're going to enjoy it. And that's my fishing report for opener. Have a good day.
Hey guys, Walker with FM Walleyes here, doing some walleye fishing on Otter Tail Lake, and just got a decent one, 20, 21, 22 incher. So I'm gonna let her go here quick. Water temps are in the about 50, 52, 53 degrees right now. Yesterday morning was about 49, and they warmed up to be about 54 now here. So just using a simple 1/8 ounce jig and a shiner, just a spot tail shiner. Been mostly trolling with those and just ripping shiners along the break line. So seem to be working pretty good. Depths, we've been about 9 to 12, 13 feet, somewhere in there, just along the break lines, and seem to be working pretty good. So good luck, guys.
Dave Randash here, spring fishing, putting together a little segment for everybody. We're up on Lake Irvin today. All the main lake water is so clear that all the fish are not on the bite until it's dark. So we're up here in Irvin looking for stained water, and we're gonna go give it a whirl. Tough getting the boat in, but it's worth it. Got one
over here, yep.
All right, I got it. Thanks for telling me, little buddy.
Hey, anything for you, you know.
Lake Irvin bobbers, early. They're not chasing today. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, that looks like a pike.
Yeah, it does. It's gonna be a northern, I think, Edward. Yeah. It's going crazy.
Yeah, just a baby pike.
Darn it. Eddie gets the walleyes, I get the northerns. Over and out. All right, here we are. We're set up now. It's been slow, but we're working a long extended point. Boulder strewn, lots of snags. Eddie's been pitching plastic. What are you throwing, Eddie?
I'm throwing a slider on a 1/4 ounce jig. It's a white with a chartreuse tail.
He's getting a bite about every 20 minutes or so, and there's his bait. Hold it in your hand, Ed.
This is what I'm throwing right here.
That's a slider. Go ahead.
And then just reel it nice and slow, and it just bounces off the bottom. Once in a while it'll get, you know, between the boulders.
We've been throwing some crankbaits here and we haven't had a bite. So now I've been bobbering. I got a 17 and a 15, and Ed had about an 18, and he lost another one. We didn't see it, but it was pretty decent, 20 plus. So he's casting out as far as he can to about 4 feet of water, letting the bait drop to the bottom. He's pulling the plastic in real slow, slightly slow rolling it. And he had a couple bites here. What were those? You think they were walleyes right below the boat?
Yeah, the one was, I think, but the other one, you know, it's hard to say, but the one felt really nice.
The one took the tail right off the end of his plastic, so we had to redo it.
One ripped the tail right off. The tails aren't
right.
real
So it's
big,
not
but
fast and furious. Water temp, like we talked earlier, is 55 degrees. Water's awful clear. The night fishermen have been doing very well. We've been hearing stories. I got a lot of connections up here with buddies, and the guys that are getting them are fishing after dark. Shore fishermen, I know Brenton Hell, he's doing a little segment, and those guys that are actually out there, and we haven't had a whole lot of nice weather until this weekend. They've been really doing very well, pitching leeches, dragging them in slow, Lindy rigs and jigs. So we got our bobber set up. What, Eddie?
bobber down.
Where at?
Right here.
Okay. Is that yours or mine?
Go ahead and take it.
Here, take that. It came under the boat here right now. So if you get a bobber down and the rod's tight, open the bail and get it out of the holder so the fish doesn't feel you lifting it like a pretty good walleye or whatever it is. Hang on, he's coming around. Coming up, Ed. That's about 18, 19 incher. There's nothing wrong with that. Beautiful. Nice job, Eddie. Nice net job. Way to go, kid. That's a nice fish. He's down his throat almost. Beautiful Lake Irvin gold here. And healthy, fat. We cleaned a couple fish the other night and they're full, and I mean plump full of ribbon leeches. And what do you think, Eddie? 19-incher?
Yeah, he's got to be
Put him
19,
in a box.
19
This one's
and
for
a half.
supper tonight. And so we're pretty happy that we're getting any fish at all. We were on the main lake yesterday and really struggled. We pitched Pelican for 3.5 hours, never caught a walleye. And it's our own fault. We knew better. When the lake is dead flat calm like that, forget it. Do something different. Bobbering especially, or maybe move a little deeper. But we pitched some of my best spots up there. Tournament spots. We got a tournament coming up in a while. And it's frustrating. We got 2 little hammer handle northerners. That was it. So anyway, we've been missing a few fish on the leeches, but plain hook and tight to the bottom with our baits, probably 6 inches off. And it's not fast and furious, but we got number 6 in the box now. 4 to go.
And time to go in.
It won't be long.
I'm hungry, man.
Oh, Eddie's hungry. We gotta go. Signing off. Bobbers and pitching. 2 different programs in the same spot. Sometimes works very well. Over and out.
Hey, greetings, tournament anglers and FM Walleye members. My name is Rick Mohan, and I, along with Eric Zietz, are the co-tournament directors for the Classic Cup Tournament Series here in 2020. And I want to take this opportunity to talk with you a little bit about the events and provide some updates. So to review, the Pelican Spring Classic is coming up here on May 29 and 30. And we announced here last week that we now know that we can move forward with that tournament, which is really exciting news. But in addition to that, we have the Big Pine Summer Classic Shootout. It's a 1-day event on June 21st. And then we will also have our Cormorant Fall Classic in September, on September 19 and 20. So to jump in and provide, I guess, a little more of an update with regard to this first event on Pelican Lake here coming up next week is first of all is that we're going to be doing the tournaments differently than what would have been done in the past. So with the public health directives, we are able to do the tournament, but again, we need to do it in such a way that we minimize large group contact. So we are going to be holding a rules meeting online. Eric and I are hoping to get that pulled together and make it available sometime early next week. But the idea would be then that you would view that meeting on our Facebook page and like it. And we're going to ask you to like it so that we know who has viewed the meeting content, and we would ask at least one member of each of the teams to do that. So the other things that's going to change about the tournament is that we have it'll also be an online awards ceremony. We will not be greeting, en masse to recognize the winners as we have done in the past. It'll be done online. So on the days of the tournament, we are going to be asking you to, practice social distancing at the ramp. Spread out. We will do boat inspections like we historically have done. We're going to want you to, make sure your boats are dry. We're going to be looking for ANS type problems. And then also we would want you to have your, not have any live bait in your live wells until the inspection has been conducted. And then we'll tell you to go ahead and do that. But we want everything dry before we start. We'll do the safety inspection. We'll obviously, there's no alcohol allowed for our participants, during the event. And then, you would launch your boat, collect your partner after parking, and then we'll have you, go out to the dock, the same place that we were last year. It's the U Motors dock across from Zorba's on the north side of Pelican there. And again, when you guys are gathering before the release, we're going to ask that you maintain a pretty good separation to manage that whole social distancing piece. The other thing is because we're not we're not collecting our meeting again at the end of the day for an awards ceremony. We're not going to issue the hard card or the hard boards with boat numbers on them. We're going to be using large paper manila envelopes. We'll have a team number. We're going to ask you to use those. And so when you're staging yourself, you can hold that up, and then the other boats around you will know what kind of order they need to be in. We anticipate probably just having one flight. With the catch photo release tournament, we only need to do one. And so the first day, it'll be, team 1 through whatever. And then on the second day of the tournament, we just reverse the field. So the highest number, and we'll go backwards down to number 1. So most of you guys are familiar with how that plays out. And again, when you're concluding fishing for the day, we're going to have you come back up to that dock, and we want you to hand this back, the packet with your way card, the SD card, and it'll be labeled and numbered, and give that back to us. And we want you to come up to the dock safely, slowly, and one at a time. We don't want to have 3 or 4 boats up at the dock at the same time. We just want it to be real orderly, safe. And, we know we're going to be under scrutiny. Lake owners are going to be watching what we're doing, and we want to, make sure that we set a good example and do things correctly. So when you go back then and load your boats, we're going to ask that you do that efficiently, clear out of the boat ramp area. Please don't socialize. And I know that's a natural tendency, and it's sad that we can't do that, but we're going to ask that that you guys help us with that regard, so that we are able to successfully continue doing these events here throughout the summer. So that's kind of in a nutshell how it's going to work. So on the last day, on the 30th, you will, at the end of the day, you'll turn in those cards. The plan right now is that so on the first day, Eric and I will publish unofficial results. Look for them online, so you'll know how the first day's field, how it turned out. And then on the second day, what we'll do is Eric and I will get together and compile all the results. And we, just in the interest of time and making sure we get it all done, we will actually hold an online awards ceremony the following Sunday. I'm a little nebulous on the time frame, just to make sure that we get everything pulled together correctly and efficiently, but we'll have that awards on Sunday. We would also publish results shortly after that awards online meeting. So that's how this is all going to play out. I also then have a couple of just follow-up and a couple of watch outs questions. We've made it mention on a couple of different occasions, but each of the participants will need to utilize a judge ruler similar to this one. It doesn't have to be an FM Walleyes branded judge ruler, but it does have to be a judge brand ruler. So all the photos will be taken on a judge. If you take a photo on a ruler that is not a judge, those fish just won't count. It'll be a 0. So we will have those rulers available at the day of the first day of the tournament, that's available for purchase only at the beginning of the day. It'll be at the ramp where you're getting your cards and all that stuff. Some of you would remember in the past we've rented them, but since we're not meeting after at the end of the second day, there's no way to collect them back. So we're just going to make them available for sale, $35, and they're yours. And my sense of it is that many of you already have them, but we'll have inventory if someone needs to pick one up. So the other thing that I want to point out is that each team will need to utilize a digital camera, any brand or similar to what this one is. And I realize everyone uses their cell phones for cameras anymore, and these types of devices aren't as popular as they once were. But the important thing is that you need a camera that can accept an SD card of this size. And this is how we maintain the integrity of the tournament, in that we control them. We make sure there's nothing on there, no images on there, and then we'll hand them out to you at the beginning of each day, and then you turn them back in at the end of each day. So there'll be a card, that you write down what the fish is, but then there's the photo to verify it. We actually have a YouTube video that was produced a couple years ago, but it does a really good job of explaining how to take pictures. So things that we're going to want the participants to do is, first of all, when you first get your SD card, put it in the camera and take a picture of your boat partner, take a picture of the dock, something just to make sure your camera is working with our card. And if there's an issue, you come back up to the dot and we'll swap out SD cards for you. And generally we don't have problems, but it's happened on occasion. So we want you to do that. Secondly is that, we view these images on a computer and we can really zoom in pretty good and we can get pretty close. So the important thing to remember is that you have to have the image that shows, the nose of the fish up against the bump plate on that ruler. And you can pinch the tail, but you need an image that shows all of that in one clean shot. In really bright conditions, sometimes that's hard to see. So actually it's really helpful if the person taking the image or someone can throw a shadow across the whole fish, because then we don't have that glare and the washout on the image. So it's much easier to read. If it's an overcast day, it's not a big deal. And you can take as many images as you want, but generally, some guys that have done this a lot, we've received cards with, one image per fish and that they're good. They really know what's going on. But if you're not comfortable or confident, feel free to take a couple. That's not a problem. And again, we'll talk more about it, but the way these catch photo release tournaments work is that you round up to the nearest quarter inch. So if you had a fish that was measured out exactly on the 15-inch line, it would be 15 1/4. If you had a fish that is 14.75, it doesn't count. There's no 15-inch fish. So it has to be a minimum of 15 inches to count. But you would more than likely record it as 15 1/4. So you're always just going to round up. And that's your discretion. There's been instances where guys weren't sure and they would have had the ability to round up, but chose not to because they didn't want to risk having the fish DQ'd, and that's okay. That's not a problem. We would go with what you marked on the card. We're going to verify it's truthful, but we're not going to round up for you. You guys make the call and go for it. And then at the end of the day, we want you to pick the top 6 fish that you want to count, and someone needs to sign or initial the bottom of the card. We're not going to pick the top 6 fish for you. We need you to do that. So that's a little bit about how the photograph pieces work. Again, we've talked about boat inspections, the online awards. We'll be posting results at the end of each day. The first days will be unofficial. So we will have that awards meeting then on the following Sunday. It would be June 1st. And then of course, the winners, we'll make arrangements to get prizes and, plaques and checks either mailed or delivered to the winners the right way. So again, really excited, looking forward to it. We've had a lot of entries that have come in. And I had lots of calls, so we know that there's going to be more coming in over the next couple of days. As I mentioned, or I do want to mention that if you are interested, and then we understand that if you're interested in competing in the tournament, we understand that it takes time to maybe get organized. And if you're not able to submit an entry that has a May 24th postmark date, which is the deadline, pick up the phone and call Eric or I. We'll figure out a way to work with you on this. Monday's a holiday, so if it doesn't get mailed until after that, if you call us, we'll make sure you're covered. But we really do need to know ahead of time so that we can prepare. So, with that, I think that's primarily the things that I wanted to cover with you folks. Like I said, we're excited about the event. It looks like we're going to have a good field, and we're just really looking forward to seeing everyone. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and hope to see a bunch of you here coming up the end of next week. So long.
Hey guys, been busy putting together some information for Pelican with Rick for the tournament coming up. Almost forgot to draw a couple names for this month's general raffle. So I had JW put all the names together with up-to-date paid memberships. We came up with Brady Bull of West Fargo and Lauren Peterson, also of West Fargo. Both of you guys going to get a reel and some Berkeley Fireline. Remember, to be eligible for these drawings, you got to be up to date with your membership. Download that online, send in your money to JW, and we'll get you taken care of. Remember, we draw a couple random names during the summer, so if you want to be eligible, get those in. Hope everybody has a good, safe holiday weekend. Can't wait to see some good pictures after the weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.